Welcome back to Glow Social Hours. So this episode is going to be a little bit different, and honestly, it's a really special one because today we are closing out 2025 with the best of the best. Over the last 6 months, we've had incredible conversations that went far beyond surface level wellness. We talked about healing at the root, rebuilding trust with your body, regulating your nervous system, how to actually build a body that matches your ambition, and redefine what it actually means to feel well as a high performing woman. We've even had amazing guests who came on the show and were sharing their healing journey and how they got into the work that they do. And they did not hold back on the amount of knowledge that they provided us on their specialties. So this season was not about quick fixes. It was about clarity. It was about listening to the body instead of overriding it. It was about understanding that the next level you are building in your life, career, relationships requires a body that can actually hold it. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing the biggest lessons, the breakthroughs, and the most powerful clips from some of the most impactful conversations we've had the last 6 months. The moments that really made us pause, rethink, and recalibrate into a new individual. Even behind the scenes, I've had so many different changes happening personally and professionally the last 6 months. I truly believe as we go into 2026, doors are opening. Okay. Doors are opening for you, for us, and truly what I have envisioned for Organically Glow in 2026 is going to blow your mind. I am so excited to continue this journey with you guys of sharing powerful healing journeys, healing stories, and the most knowledgeable individuals I want to bring on to this show. So if you guys have guests that you want to hear from, make sure you head over to my Instagram. Let me know who you want us to bring on the show. And also, I would love to hear your feedback. If you guys can take some time to write a little testimonial, a little review, I would really appreciate that. And if you guys can also put 5 stars, that really helps the show grow and it helps me help you bring on fantastic guests who can share their knowledge with you. So whether you've been here since day one or you are just tuning in, consider this your invitation, not only to join us in this movement, but also to reflect, to realign, and step into 2026 feeling so grounded, so clear, and so deeply connected back to your body. So grab your coffee or your matcha and let's get into the best of season 2025.
I really want to hear your perspective on GLP-1s and just your experience with them.
Yes. So there's so much to unpack. With the GLP-1s, I know it does get a bad rep in the media. And I always say a lot of that is from people who aren't being managed properly while they're on the medication. Because I have clients who are taking it as that magic pill. They're eating whatever they want. They're still having the same lifestyle habits and they can be on it and lose like 5 pounds and wondering why. My sister, brother's niece-in-law's cousin lost 100 pounds. Why am I not losing? So I think having a practitioner who can really walk you through how to properly take this medication while also working on lifestyle is very important. The medication, just with studies alone, has shown that the medication does have amazing effects. Of course, not every medication is for everybody. There are certain contraindications where people who, depending on their medical history, you cannot take the medication, such as if they have history of pancreatitis or a certain type of very specific type of medullary thyroid cancer, they cannot have the medication. But it is doing amazing things with people, I feel like, when it is closely monitored. So there is such a thing that of the super responders. So people who are on the lowest dose and they're just losing rapid weight. And with rapid weight and not eating comes the hair loss. It comes with losing muscle while you're on the medication. Or a lot of people are still in this mindset of cardio, especially as you get older. Cardio is not the most effective exercise tool that we have, especially being on a GLP-1. You want to focus more on strength training. Gives patients a better chance on the medication with less side effects. The medication itself has anti-inflammatory properties, so not only being used for weight loss, but it's being shown to, decrease inflammation in the body. It's been shown to help people lose weight, which helps with sleep apnea, which is a whole cascade of issues that come with people who have sleep apnea. Most people don't even realize that they have sleep apnea. But the medication is also helping to decrease cholesterol in the body. It's helping with heart disease now. We know it helps diabetics. So I do feel like, again, with the proper care and somebody to walk you through is really what gives you an advantage of being on this medication while you're taking it to mitigate a lot of the side effects.
Just going off of what you were saying about the diet and the lifestyle, you said that also it's so important to start building muscle when you're on these medications. And that's a big thing that's happening right now. People are finding out that, hey, like I've been taking these medications for over a long period of time now, and I am losing so much muscle. They're even talking about now the Ozempic face, right? Like you're just super slim in the face. Can you chat a little bit more about that and like what they can do to kind of combat those side effects?
Yes. So I always like to keep my patients in mind of the long ends. And with Ozempic or GLP-1s, I always say that you kind of build a relationship with it. So they don't really understand what I'm talking about at first. But then when I see them for the follow-up, they're like, oh, I understand what you're saying because, certain foods you eat are going to either keep you constipated or send you running to the restroom. So you'll know that you cannot eat those foods. So the medication really does do a great job of filtering out or quieting the food noise, which a lot of people don't know that they have this food noise. They're eating breakfast, already thinking about what's for lunch or thinking about what snacks they can get into. And we really don't realize how much that food noise is there until it's not there. So recognizing that, I always tell patients, and this has to do with keeping the muscle on as well, but having patients to make sure you're eating. If you feel nauseous, it's most likely because your blood sugar is dropping. And so making sure they're getting at least 30 grams of protein per meal in. So showing them what protein looks like, what kind of protein snacks that they can have, how to ensure that they're focused on protein. That's going to keep the muscle on. I also tell patients to be mindful of their hunger cues while on the medication. So it's where you're eating and after probably half of what you normally eat, you just get this feeling of like, that's all I can explain it. You're just like, I cannot eat anymore. Noticing what that feels like, noticing the hunger cues when it happens. Oh, I'm full. Let me stop. When you start doing that now, when you kind of have that instinct in you that just like where it forcibly makes you stop. Some people eat over it. But if you start to learn those hunger cues to stop when you feel full, that's going to be helpful when you get off the medication and you don't have that sense that's making you stop. You can easily overeat, but I tell them your stomach is going to shrink while you're on this medication because you're eating less. If you continue overeating, it's just going to stretch right back out and you'll be back to eating, we use tacos. You'll be back to eating those 3 tacos. Notice your hunger cues. And then also start noticing your portions. If you know that on this medication, you can only eat 1 taco and that your stomach can only handle 1 taco. So those are a few things that I tell them to be able to help them keep their appetite up, that they're at least eating food and that they're not losing muscle. So the other thing, again, is going back to strength training. So definitely the strength training, I tell them cardio maybe 2 days, but 3 days is strength training. You have to do something to build that muscle, to keep that muscle. But I'll just say strength training allows you to burn more calories when you're at rest. That is another incentive to strength training. So just really trying to enforce keeping their protein up while they're on the medication, eating their protein first, eating in that wheel, like eat your protein first and then your veggies and your protein and then go to your carbs. So just trying to correct the nutrition ways. But I still really try to get those notes into patients so that they know how to be mindful and also what foods to eat to keep the muscle on while they're on the medication, so they aren't getting Ozempic face and their skin isn't all flabby and things when they get off of it.
If I could go back in time to the version of me who was just starting this business, who was just getting the idea of this business, I would not warn her. I would ground her. I would let her know what truly matters, what's real, and also what no one else is talking about. When I got into this world, I wasn't focused on the income. I wasn't focused on the dollars that I would make. I actually had
a purpose. And I truly believed in that purpose. And I knew I wanted to help other women heal their bodies, build businesses, and that would really impact women all over the world. It would change the world. That was where my head was at. That was my mindset when I had this idea of starting a business. So often, especially with social media, especially with everything we have access to now, we only see one side of building a business or starting a business. We see the people who are making millions of dollars, having all this freedom and this time to travel, to jump on a private jet and fly across the world. And there definitely is a side to that, right? That is 100% possible. You can make lots of money while also helping to change the world, making an impact, right? You can make the income, you can make an impact together, but we only see one side. We only see people making the income. It looks easy. They make it seem easy. But what's really not being told is actually the challenges that comes with being a business owner, the lessons, the mistakes that comes with being a business owner. So moving through fear is something that you will have to learn how to do when you become a business owner, when you become a practitioner, when you actually step into this next role, into this next calling. And that's something that a lot of people actually let fear hold them back. And there was a point where I was like, okay, am I really doing this? Like every single day pushing post was scary, but I did it. So now when fear comes up, I am more aware of what that actually means, right? You're just uncomfortable. Like it's something new. When you're experiencing something new, you do feel anxious. You do feel scared because you have never done it before. And so how can you move through fear? It looks different per person. Me specifically, when I first started, I just really told myself, like, you don't have a choice. You want to do this, you have to do the hard things. And so I just kept working that muscle. Just like if you go to the gym, you're trying to build muscle, you're trying to build a booty, you constantly and consistently have to keep showing up even when you don't want to. So that's what I did. I showed up every single day. When I felt the fear, I moved through it and I just did it anyways. And so over time, I have worked that muscle. And so when fear does come up, I actually have really been trying to train myself, move. Instead of stopping, instead of holding back, I physically move myself. So when you feel that fear, this is completely normal, especially when starting a business, especially when stepping into a new role as a practitioner, as a coach, or if you're in just a transition in your life right now, it's going to be uncomfortable, and that is okay. So that is the mindset shift that I had to make, or that I have made, that has actually helped me get to the point where I am today. I didn't know the how. I just knew to take action, to take messy action every single day, and things will move because naturally they do. Like that's just how the world works. So that is my first lesson, is really the mindset shift around this. There is going to be fear, but you just have to move through it. And if you do need more support with that, if you need a sounding board, this is where having someone in your corner is so important. Or surrounding yourself with other individuals who are on the same journey as you, because they understand what you're going through.
You don't need more wellness advice. What you're looking for are answers. If you're tired of wondering why you feel off, my one-time functional lab testing packages are your fast track to clarity. This is root cause insight without the long-term commitment. You'll get functional labs, a detailed breakdown of what's really going on, and a short-term protocol designed to bring immediate relief. It's not a transformation, it's a turning point. A way to stop guessing, start strategizing, and take grounded action right now. If you're craving clarity without the overwhelm, head to organicallyglow.com and book your testing package today, because your symptoms aren't random, they are readable, and I'll help you decode them.
So hustle culture is very sneaky because we have been taught, we have been programmed that this is normal. This is the only way to succeed in this world. And so eventually what happens when we're so stuck in hustle is we're moving with fear. We're moving in fear, right? We're moving in survival. We're not moving with intention. We're not moving with our purpose. Yeah, we may be moving forward, but what if we actually paused and realigned with what we're actually meant to do in this world? We probably wouldn't experience burnout. We probably wouldn't experience as much anxiety. Our bodies probably wouldn't crash on us if we were actually in harmony. So harmony is really something that I love to talk about because this is really just alignment. Like you are moving in alignment. You are moving with intention in what you were called to do. And so when you move in purpose, you actually feel good. You feel good in your body. You feel good in your minds. You actually have space to think bigger, to envision bigger for yourself. And so it's truly the opposite of pressure. It's the opposite of moving in survival, right? You're actually aligned with your values and the decisions you make. You really just stop performing just to perform, just to get a badge of honor, and you start listening. And when you move from trust and not fear, you don't need to do more in order to achieve more. You just get to be who you are. And that's enough. And so here are some questions to really recenter yourself. And I really want you to take some time to actually realign with your purpose. Because when we realign with our purpose, we can literally transform our lives, generations to come, and the world. Because that's the whole goal here. So number one, ask yourself, am I hustling or am I actually pausing and hearing what is coming in? Am I forcing or am I flowing? And what season am I really in? Because there are seasons where you have to hustle, but you can still hustle and move with purpose. You're moving with intention. You're not just hustling to survive. And then you also want to ask yourself, what's actually mine to carry? And what isn't. So really realigning with your purpose is something that is super, super important, especially if you're in your 20s. And I remember when I was like literally just turned 20, I'm about to graduate college and I was like feeling so behind. Oh my gosh, like I don't even know like what I want to do. Like I knew I wanted to go to nursing school. I knew I wanted to help people, but it just felt so far away. And it's because you were just checking off boxes this entire time. You were just doing things because you thought it was right. You have been told that this is the only path to succeed. And so, number one, just pause and reflect what's no longer working, even if it used to. So this is so important, especially in a business, right? You have to constantly look back, reflect, make changes, what's working, what's not working. And this is something that I have actually recently been going back to because I have been doing things in my business that has gotten me pretty far, right? It has gotten me where I'm at today. But I know it's not going to get me to the next level. I would sit on my computer for like 10 to 12 hours a day at my desk, doing who knows what on my computer, thinking I was being productive. But in reality, my health was crashing. My relationships were not getting nourished. My body wasn't getting nourished with foods. So I really had to take a step back and realize, like, Jasmine, you cannot keep going this way. Yes, it has gotten you this far, but if you want to go to the next level, that is not going to work for me anymore. So right now I'm realigning how I do everything in my business, right? I'm making systems. I have systems in place now. I'm working on the business, not in the business. I'm actually like really focusing on like my habits and my health and really focusing on my relationships. Number two is clarifying your yeses. So what decisions actually align with your current purpose, your values, and your capacity? You really want to think about your vision. Like really take some time and like meditate, prayer, whatever you need to do, pray, and ask like what's next? Like, what do I really see in my head that I want to do? And sometimes maybe it's something that's like completely out of the norm, right? I have a lot of clients that I actually work with, and they're very successful women in their jobs, right? And they have gone through this whole health journey, and they're very passionate about health, right? They love health. They love wellness. They love the work that we have been doing. And they told me, like, I want to do this. Like, this is what I want to do. And I'm like, then do it. Like I was just saying, I had to like restructure my whole life basically to actually move my business forward. And so sometimes it's not even about the business. Like maybe your business is running perfectly, but you are burning out. So you have to really restructure your life. So you have to really take some time, look at your health. What are your habits? How are your relationships? What are your values? And really just like kind of like refocus on what you want, what that future you wants. And then always return to your why. So like, why do you even want to do this? What are you here to build? What is your calling? What are you meant to do in this lifetime? Today, we're going to be talking about identity, specifically how to shift your identity to become the version of you who is wealthy and well. This is something that I have seen every single one of my clients walk through. And if you have ever gone through an identity shift, which most of us probably have, it's very common, you don't know how to explain it unless you experience it. Like, it's not something you explain, you just know in your body, like, yeah, I'm a completely different person. And you will get people, maybe old friends, old relationships, old people you used to hang out with, they will see you now and be like, who even are you? Like, you're not even the same person. Like, what have you been doing? And that is an identity shift. This is not just about healing your body. This is not just about getting rid of your symptoms. This is not just about bringing your body back into balance. It is so much deeper than that. You are shifting into a completely different version of yourself in the best way possible. And your relationships will be impacted. Your business will be impacted in the best way possible too. So let's just walk through the 4 steps it takes to shift your identity, to step into that next version of yourself. So number 1 is the awareness. So having the awareness around wanting to change, the desire to change, is so important. Having the awareness around your patterns, your behaviors, how you're triggered, is going to give you so much clarity on what you need to let go of, what you actually need to put on the back burner, because that's not who you're going to take into this next phase of your life. Start stepping into the next step, which is the desire. Desire is direction. So you probably already know that you have the desire to step into this next version of you who is healed, who is wealthy, who is well, who is all the things. So what happens when you feel the desire, you know it deep down that you want something, you see it in your vision, like, I want to be a multi-million-dollar business. I want to be so healed that I can walk outside, I can enjoy my life, I can eat all the food that I want to eat. So having a desire, knowing that this version of you right now isn't going to achieve that desire if you don't make some changes. So ask yourself, what would it feel like to want your life and not just manage it? What would it feel like if you achieved that vision you have in your head? Once you have the desire, once you're super clear on your vision, then we can jump into the decision. The moment you stop negotiating with yourself, you are going to make some changes. You have the awareness, you have the desire. Now you just have to decide to do it and to take action. So when it comes to the decision, this is really where the real shift happens. Because we can get so caught up in the awareness, being stuck in understanding our triggers, being stuck in understanding our behaviors, understanding our patterns. So step 3 is the decision. So the moment you stop doubting yourself, the moment you stop negotiating with yourself, and you finally decide that we are going to make some changes. We are now aware of our behaviors, our patterns, our different triggers. We have the desire, we see the vision, we know the person we want to be. Now we have to decide to be the person. So this is really where the real shift happens, because now we're just not stuck in talking about our problems, talking about what is wrong, talking about our patterns, our triggers. We know our desire, we know our vision. We're not just journaling about it, we're not just making boards about it, vision boarding, all this stuff, right? We're actually deciding to do something about it. So you don't just become a new version of you by breaking behavior. You actually have to become her by deciding that you no longer want that old version of you. Number 4 is action. So once we have decided that we're done tolerating that old version of myself, we're stepping into this next version of ourselves, we're doing it, we're becoming her. Now it's time to take action. Now that you are aware of your problems, you're aware of the behaviors, you're aware of the patterns. I wouldn't even say problems, I want to say patterns. You have the desire, you have the vision of who that next version of you is. You have decided that I'm going to become her. Now it's time to take action. Being aligned with your action, not reactive, but really, truly doing things that actually align with that future version of yourself. It's not just you get to step 1, get to step 2, get to step 3, get to step 4. Amazing. You're a brand new person. That's not how it works. You're actually constantly going through these 4 phases day in and day out. So if you haven't had a period for 12 months, you may be considered in a menopausal state. Again, typically this happens around 50 to 55 years old. Sometimes it can be earlier, so around 45 years old. But symptoms can begin years before you are even in menopause. So let's jump into menopause a little bit more in depth. So what is happening to our hormones during this phase? So our hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone all drop. We've talked about estrogen and progesterone a lot in our last couple of episodes because those are our sex hormones. They are our reproductive hormones, and they are responsible for everything, for metabolism, for reproduction, for brain health, for sleep, for mood, even for libido. So it's really important to support these hormones the best we can. And then there's also testosterone, which is really important for like motivation, for thinking clearly, for making decisions quickly, for building muscle, staying strong, having higher endurance when we're training, right? So all of these hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, all drop. So how does this affect you? So number 1 is you have the inability to regulate your temperature. So this is where the hot flashes comes in. This is where the night sweats comes in, where you're sitting there and it's like 60 degrees in the house and you're like, why am I sweating? What is going on here? And this doesn't just happen to women between 45 to 55 years old. I see this happening to younger and younger women every single day in my practice. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, this is definitely a sign of early menopause, but how can we support our body so we're not experiencing these symptoms? How can we reverse this? And we can. When these hormones drop too, we start to have metabolism issues, right? So our metabolism starts to slow down. So this can lead to weight gain. This can lead to the inability to lose weight. So it's harder to lose weight. This can even lead to how well we're regulating our blood sugar. So insulin resistance is something I see pretty often when it comes to our metabolism, when it comes to our hormonal shifts. So it's really important to get testing done so we know what is, contributing to your symptoms. Next, our brain. Our brain is going to have some shifts and changes as these hormones decline. So we can have memory loss, we can have brain fog, we can have the mood swings. And then our sleep. Our sleep is impacted so much. Like I said, some people, they have night sweats, so they're waking up in the middle of the night and they're like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Like, I can't even get a good night's rest. They are fragmented, so they're just waking up multiple times throughout the night. They're not getting that deep restorative sleep that we need to help with our brain health, to help with our energy levels. And then, of course, bad sleep can lead to anxiety. Honestly, it's very difficult to build muscle as you age. So that's why it is best to do it now. You can still work on building muscle right now. You just have to work a little bit harder at it and more strategic about it. And then your libido. So this is going to really impact your relationships. All of these symptoms can impact your relationships. It can impact your day-to-day life. It can impact your work life. So these symptoms have become normalized, but you can optimize these symptoms. You can optimize your hormones in order to combat these symptoms, because symptoms are just signals. Once we understand what they're trying to communicate to you, then that's when we can be strategic and we can bring in certain things to support your body, to support your health, support your brain, your energy levels, all the fun stuff that we need in order to live a very healthy and thriving life.
You lead teams, households, businesses, but no one taught you how to lead your health. Most wellness advice wasn't built for women like you, high functioning, chronically fatigued, done with surface level fixes that don't actually work. That's why I created my one-on-one personalized wellness plans. We start with functional labs, we decode your symptoms, and we build a protocol that's rooted in data and designed for your reality. This isn't trendy wellness, this is root cause medicine that leads to restorative care. It's clarity, structure, and sustainable results for women who carry a lot and deserve to feel like themselves again. If you are ready for precision support and a practitioner who sees the full picture, head to organicallyglow.com, book a call, and let's rebuild your energy at the root so you can lead everything else from a place of clarity. If today's conversation shifted something inside of you, if it brought you clarity, relief, or a new way to see your health as a leadership tool, I'd love for you to share this with another powerhouse woman in your world. And remember, symptoms aren't the problem, they are the signal. When you start translating them, you stop surviving and you start leading with clarity. I'll see you next time inside Glow Social Hour.